Hello everyone and welcome to this video for Men's Minds Matter. I am your host, Aaron Ryder, and today we're going to be continuing on our discussion about toxic co-parenting. Specifically, today's video is something known as erase and replace. And this is something that is part of the larger loyalty conflict. And so we want to talk about that today, about what it is and how to take care of it and how to deal with it when it happens. So, what is erase and replace? This involves moving a new person into your role. This person is referred to as the parent. Your ex may also remove you from your child's contact information at school, and the doctor, which will leave you in the dark about what is going on with your child. Okay, so I've seen this play out in several families in a lot of different ways, and it's not just about your child calling the other person mom or dad. It can also, I know in one case, the mom encouraged their child to say, Mommy Bob and Daddy Jim and Daddy Bob, and reality is Daddy Bob was the real dad. Daddy Jim was just the new boyfriend. I've also seen it where an ex will have a child change their last name on schoolwork or use a hyphenated name to indicate who they're going to be with. And you should know that those are very toxic behaviors. In fact, those are the kinds of things you want to document. If you get paperwork from the school with your child and it has a different name on them, you want to address that right away, and you can address that in a legal way. And I would never tell you to, I'm not here to give you legal advice, but that is certainly something that judges will want to see, because it is hard evidence that your child has been put through a loyalty conflict. So find those things, document them, and make sure that you shut them down right away. You are not Mommy Sarah and Mommy Bob or Daddy Bob. You are just mom and dad, and there is no one else that is mom and dad. If you want something appropriate for your child to refer to a significant other, the first name is okay, especially in a familiar setting. What do they call their aunt and uncle? Probably by their first name. And so it would be appropriate to call the significant other or step parent by their first name. But don't ever do the first name and then, mommy so-and-so or daddy so-and-so. Simply mom and dad should be enough. All right, so what do we do when this happens? I gave you a little bit already, but the first thing to not do is to respond in anger. Remember that often it is your child that is saying these things, and it is not your child that is coming up with them. So taking the anger out against your child will only make will only foster more negative feelings. The second thing that you want to be careful of is not blaming other people for not knowing. So if your ex has removed your name from school forms or the doctor's office, and these people aren't letting you know what's going on, please remember that is not their intention. They are professionals. They have a job to do. And if they aren't given the information, they don't know the information. So do not respond to them in anger either, simply because they have been also victims of your ex's terrible behavior in trying to erase you. So what should we do to cope? First of all, be present and involved, and find ways of being more involved. If your kid does a sport or an activity, be there. Coach their team. Be present in their lives. And that is an excellent way to cope, because then not only does your child know that you care and that you're present, but also the other adults in your child's life will know who you are and know what your role is. Also, refer to your ex only in positive ways. I understand this is tough, but you don't want to play the same game that they are. Do not diminish their role in the child's life. Do not erase and replace them because they are important. So only refer to your ex in positive ways. And again, I encourage you to employ the thumper rule. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. This would also be comments about your ex's new significant other. Boy, that's a hard one, but if it helps you, smile and say to yourself, well, My ex is their problem now, and then move on with your life because that is exactly what the issue is. Next, foster fond memories. Do your best to not only have good time and a quantity of time, but quality of time so that your kid has things that they enjoy being involved with when they are spending time with you. Next, encourage critical thinking. Now, this is something you should do no matter what, but your child will figure out what is going on at some point in time. And when you encourage them to think about things, they are going to draw good conclusions, and then that knowledge is theirs. It's not, no one made them have that knowledge. They came up with it on their own. So encourage critical thinking. And the next thing is create family traditions. So you should be creating family traditions even if you're not divorced or co-parenting with a toxic ex. However, those family traditions are even more important when you're dealing with an erase and replace. Because at the end of the day, even if they try to erase you as a person, they can't erase those memories of what you did and how you were with your child in your child's mind. Every child, no matter what they have gone through, the vast, overwhelming majority of them, even if they've been treated poorly by a parent, will still have a positive feeling about that parent. And so if you do your best to create memories and traditions, your child will want a relationship with you, and they will want you to be their parent and not replace you with someone else. All right, so how do we be non-toxic? So while it's natural that that you may find a new partner, it's important that clear roles and boundaries are established. Encourage your child to not refer to your new partner as mom or dad. Stepmom or stepdad would be okay. One option is refer to your new partner by the first name as you would do a relative. When talking to your child about your ex, refer to them as mom and dad. And this is a healthy habit to get into even when you're not talking to your child. So let's say you were at the doctor's appointment and your ex can't be there. Rather than referring to them by some sort of derogatory name, just say something like their mom or their dad. And even if your ex is or your present person that you're with is there with you, make sure you make that distinction. This is his stepmom, this is his stepdad, whoever that role may be, so that they know and they know there's another person. So with all of that said, I know this is one of the most challenging and one of the most painful things to see happen. When your child removes that role that you have, I know that for me, one of the most important roles that I have, and one of my favorite things to be called, is to be called dad or daddy. And I treasure those things when my kids say them. And so I can't imagine how hurtful and painful this would be if you are in the middle of your ex attempting to erase and replace you. But the good news is that if you follow these strategies, you're going to minimize those effects. And if you continue to put your relationship with your child above the pettiness, your child will see it and you will maintain that relationship with them in the long run. Thank you very much, and I hope you like it. And we've got a few more videos for this coming up.